When I was a child, we used to spend every summer at my aunt and uncle's house in Michigan. It was a massive house that looked more like a castle, especially from the back. I did not know anything about the house's history, but it gave me an uneasy feeling every time I walked in. The study was filled with secret storage places, and there were two big tunnels under the house that you could only get to from the secret closet in the basement. As you entered the tunnels, you were greeted by an ostentatious lighting fountain, which looked like it hadn't worked in years. One tunnel led out to the stable, while the other just led out to the grounds. Every time I entered the house, I felt like a weight had been put on my chest. I really looked forward to seeing my cousins, but absolutely hated that we had to spend our time in that house. The only room where I felt at ease was the family room, which I found out many years later was a new addition. The playroom was in the basement, and all the other kids used to play down there while I often sat and cried on the stairs. The basement gave me the worst feeling of all. One summer, my grandparents were also staying in the house. I woke up pretty early and followed the cat down to the main floor. He started walking towards the basement and darted in the other direction instead. But I decided to continue on since my grandparents were sleeping in one of the basement bedrooms. I quickly ran down the stairs, past the playroom, and into their bedroom. They were both mostly asleep, so I decided to lay down in between them instead of heading back upstairs. As I looked up at the ceiling, a small crack formed into a woman's smiling face. At first, I thought it was my imagination, so I turned around and looked back at the ceiling, but the woman's face was still there. Sometimes it was her profile, and other times it was her head on. At no point did I feel threatened or unsafe. There was just something very warm about her, actually. A few years later, my aunt and uncle decided to put the house on the market. It never sold, but a sidekick insisted on visiting the house. Most of the people around the area were aware of the house's history. My aunt begrudgingly agreed to have her come visit the house, and she arrived within the next few days. The sidekick wandered around looking at things and making sounds until she got to the basement. My aunt said she went completely pale and yelled a woman was assaulted here, and ran out of the house. It was around this time that I learned that construction workers would hear sounds on the top floor even though no one was in the house. A woman living in the house on the ground said the stable lights would come on and off in the middle of the night at all times. The security alarm also had the tendency to go off at random times. My uncle still lives in the house, so I'm not sure if I should reveal the history, even though it is pretty well known in that area. All I will say is that it belonged to someone who handled the shady dealings for a very famous automobile manufacturer. You can take from this what you will, but